Hey, what's up YouTube? So today we're going to be talking about one of the first modular powered race cars in Street Outlaw to go sevens in the quarter. And that was done by my buddy Randy Haywood, if you remember him from some of the other videos. This was in a New Edge, what they called Mustang at the time, like a 2001 body in white, I think is what he acquired. And basically Randy took a Navigator 5.4 and he had worked on some heads, but I think he got overly aggressive and had water leaking on them. Ended up putting a set of stock Navigator heads on it, went out and ran low 8s in the quarter, about 100 and high 60s, almost 170. Over a little bit of time, about a matter of fact, about a year, he ended up whittling this car down to a low 5-second car into 8th. And he went a 797, I believe, at like 171 or 174 in the quarter. He actually went to a NMRA race where I got this hat, 20 plus years ago, and he won the race. He actually went to the finals and won. So it's pretty cool, some of the stuff he did with his car. I don't have a lot of footage of this car, basically about 3 different passes on it. One where he had to clean his drawers because he lost that car over at Piedmont one day. He was out there running a race, and the first pass he goes like a low 6 on it, and the second pass he wicked it up and he leaves the starting line. It's just blowing the tires off, but it's going straight. Well, he's in it and it never quits spinning, and the car starts getting loose. He has to start driving this thing, and he yanging and yawing on that steering wheel, and he saves it. I give him credit. He didn't hit a damn thing. And shortly after that, he loaded that thing up and went back to the house, so. But what's funny is he actually did really well with the car. Now, the car weighed a little over 3,000 pounds. The class weight at the time was 2,800 in Street Outlaw, and he was trying his best to get the car light. And what I remember specifically is back in the day, this guy had like the roof skin off, and he was cutting out all kind of metal stuff he could find just to light this car up. I don't know what he ever got it down to, but he got this car as light as possible. And did a lot of little tricks to it. It had the 5.4 Navigator engine, like a 91mm turbo, a power glide transmission. It was a ladder bar car. It was really a cool car. It was blue and white, had true blue performance on it. And he did really well with it. So I want to show you a couple things that I actually have after all these years. One is the 5.0 Mustang magazine. This is from, let's see here, September 2002. It says Turbo Blue Randy's 1,200 horsepower 8-second modular. And on the inside, it actually shows the car and talks about it navigating the 7s, because eventually it did go 7s. And it was really cool. It's a pretty neat article here on it. Talks about the engine, 20 over 5.4 Oliver rods, that it had the small cams and Navigator heads, Hogan sheet metal intake, 91.5mm precision turbo, 160-pound injectors, power glide, a Mark Williams aluminum spooled rear end with 40 spline axles. He was running a fast system back then. Had an Anthony Jones K member and control arms and struts, aerospace brakes, and it had a 25-1 chassis by Gary Wisecarver. So it's pretty neat to see this car, there in the magazine. And then here was an old race pages I had. This again is from Bradenton Coverage. This was called the July 2002, where he was featured. Again, another cover, 2 covers that he got. And then we'll turn over here. Back then, the race page was in black and white, but this is the quick article, they say, where he was running with Chris Derrick and John Yurst with a brand new chassis, 1,200 horsepower. And let's see here. He's expecting to get some Bennett ported heads for it. But meanwhile, in testing, he'd gone a 518 at 142. And I think that might be on this video I'm going to show you. But regardless, pretty cool. It was very photogenic in the blue and white colors like that, and did well. And I did find this article back from April 2003. This is on dragracecentral.com, and it talks about the hero was Randy. On Saturday, went a 799 at 174. He became the number 5 qualifier in Street Outlaw. In the 21 car class, he beat Spurgeon Adkins, Gary Rowe, Mike Smith, and Mark Van Meter. And then he faced Mike Tremandelis in the final round. Randy got the whole shot, went an 8:16 at 172 to take the win. And that's the first time he'd won an NMRA event. So that was pretty cool, you know, when I went and looked up what I could for Randy. There wasn't a lot out there on the internet for it, you know, other than like some pictures. There we go. It's a picture of the car. This is kind of like the same thing that was in the magazine article, talking about everything with the car. That he'd actually built some motors for J.R. Granatelli, and through that experience he learned what he could and couldn't do with those motors. This is pretty neat, you know, just to share a little bit of this with you. Like I said, I didn't have a ton of footage on this car back then, but I do have a low 5-second pass on it. I have a pass where he liked to wipe out on it. So I'll throw these together real quick. Let me know what you think. Just a little bit of history. You got to think this is back 2002, 2003. This is 20 years ago. And my man went 790s 20 years ago with a 5.4 mod motor, Power Glide, and somewhere between a 2,800 and 3,000 pound Mustang. Pretty impressive stuff.
Spanish?
No. Yes. 4.6 street code. You see it on the board. 559 in the boat spot. And that's the first round. Now I don't know what it's going to take for the second round. That was if everybody get used to the track. Whoa. This is outlaw action in its best.
Stock head. Not bad for a stock navigator motor. No, not at all.